अथैतदप्यशक्तोऽसि कर्तुं मद्योगमाश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं ततः कुरु यतात्मवान् श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात् ज्ञानाध्यानं विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागः त्यागात् शान्तिरनन्तरम् अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां मैत्रः करुण एव च निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखसुखक्षमी सन्तुष्ट सततं योगी यथात्मा दृढनिश्चयः मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिः यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यस्मानो द्विजते लोकाः लोकानो द्विजते च यः हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैः मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः अनपेक्षः शुचिर्दक्षः उदासीनो गतव्यतः सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यो न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न काङ्क्षति शुभाशुभपरित्यागी भक्तिमान् यः स मे प्रियः समः शत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयोः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु समः सङ्गविवर्जितः तुल्यनिन्दास्तुतिर्मौनी सन्तुष्टो येन केनचित् अनिकेतः स्थिरमतिः भक्तिमान् मे प्रियो नरः ये तु धर्म्यामृतमिदं यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्धधानामत्परमाः भक्तास्तेतीव मे प्रियाः ॐ तत्सत् इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासूपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे भक्तियोगो नाम 12ोऽध्यायः।
Welcome back. On the 4th day of the discourses, we are discussing the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, entitled Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of knowledge, yoga of devotion rather. Now, bhakti or devotion. One of the essential aspect of bhakti, devotion, is the attitude of gratitude. I would say it is the essential aspect of bhakti. When you pray, when you close your eyes, close your palms and pray, one of the questions that you need to ask yourself is, are you praying or are you praying? Meaning, there are two types of prayer. One is praying in the sense of P-R-E-Y. The other one is praying in the sense of P-R-A-Y. P-R-E-Y, pray, is when you close your palm and close your eyes and demand, asking God for more. Whereas true prayer, that is P-R-A-Y, is when you close your palm and close your eyes and express your deepest sense of gratitude for what He had already given you. When you don't recognize the blessings that you are already conferred with, that is ingratitude. Simply acknowledging the incredible provisions that some supreme providence blessing us with. Awareness of the blessings that the money cannot buy, and expressing your gratitude is devotion. Gratitude is one of the simplest, but one of the most rewarding mental disposition you could ever maintain. It is the mother of all positive attitude, because from gratitude emanates many other noble virtues like forgiveness, compassion, kindness, charity. In fact, many of our iniquities, challenges, lacuna, the vacuum, emptiness that you feel can be set right by the simple thought adjustment in your mind called gratitude. It is a healing feeling. Gratitude heals your soul. It heals your personality, heals your life, it heals your relationship. It heals you from the worries and anxieties and reinstates equanimity, serenity, and mental peace. The attitude of gratitude can literally turn what you have, or whatever little bit that you have, into more than enough. It can turn your job into joy, the difficult job that you complain. It can convert hell into heaven. It can transform chaos into order, challenges into chances. When you have some sort of indecisiveness, uncertainty, gratitude can bring in clarity in your mind. It can bring chaos to order. It is so simple, yet most people forget When I talk to you about gratitude, perhaps some of you must be feeling, yeah, I heard this gratitude stuff before. I've heard from many sources. But the truth is that we don't know. We forget. It is so easy for us to forget the blessings. The nature of the ungrateful mind is it remembers what they don't have and forget what they have. And it focuses upon the blessings others have and think about the challenges or the curses one has. That is the ungrateful mind works. Ungrateful mind always focus upon, oh, others have blessings, and focus upon the curse or the challenges that we have. An ungrateful mind believes what we have is less than what others have. And that is when greed, envy, and many other negative emotions spring in your mind. When you feel a sense of inadequacy, things like, if you feel that your house is too small, remember, that small house is the dream home of a homeless person. Isn't it? When you complain about the difficult job that you have, the difficult job that you have is the dream of every unemployed person in the country. As you know, unemployment in the country is one of the highest in the world. There are parents complain about their annoying child. When you complain about your annoying child, difficult child, remember that is the dream of every infertile couple. Isn't it? There are children, on the other hand, complain about controlling parents. Youth tend to complain about the controlling parents. Remember, that is the dream of every orphans. There are people, they have a good job, well-paid job, a comfortable job, but complain about, oh, it's 1 hour to drive. Every day I drive 1 hour or 1.5 hours. When you complain about you're driving to your workplace every day in the morning and come back in the evening for an hour, remember, there are millions upon millions of children in this country and all over the world walk the same distance just to get to school and back. That too in a difficult terrain. Ungrateful mind tend to focus upon one's own challenges and other people's blessing. That is where our difficulty is. That is not bhakti. That is not devotion. There are people who complain about difficulty in washing the dishes, washing the vessels. Did you look at the other side? When you complain about too many dishes to wash every day, that is what the poor and the hungry people wishes, that they had food to eat. If you're washing dishes, which means you have food to eat, don't you? When you complain about the small bank balance that you have, think about the debtors. That's what they wish. They didn't mind having the small bank balance so long as their debt is cleared. If you complain about your mother-in-law or your in-laws, that is the dream of every unmarried person wanting to get married. I can go on, I can go on. The list is endless. What I'm trying to establish, ladies and gentlemen, is that we engage in rituals and prayers and devotions and pilgrimage and worshipping idols becomes absolutely meaningless if you don't focus upon the blessings that supreme providence, you can call God, you can call Father in heaven, you can call Allah, you can call Krishna, Rama, no matter what you call, there seems to be some supreme providence that beautifully orchestrates everything that we need. If you forget that, our form worship or formless worship means nothing. Rituals, pilgrimages, erecting temples and devotion means nothing unless you recognize your blessing. And if you recognize your blessing and feel a deeper sense of gratitude, that's all you need for you to be happy and peaceful in life. But our mind tend to forget the blessing because every day we are pounded with information, what other people have, what other people possess and enjoy, which places they travel. That's what's happening. That's all the reason for our unhappiness. In life, you can harbor two types of mindset. You can either harbor abundance mentality or scarcity mentality. Most people suffer from scarcity mentality, that is, there isn't enough. Either there is not enough for me or there isn't enough in the world. When you acutely aware of the blessings that you have, count your blessings, it changes your mindset from scarcity mentality to abundance mentality. When you experience that abundance mentality, that is when you really, really feel the financial freedom. Do you know, financial freedom that people talk about? Everybody wants financial freedom. If you ask a financial consultant, they will tell you, what is financial freedom? Financial freedom is all about, if you have passive income to sustain your lifestyle, then you have financial freedom. Of course, that is from the money point of view, that is true. But then there are thousands and thousands of people in the world who have enough to sustain their lifestyle. Still, they are not free financially. Why? Because they suffer from scarcity mentality. No matter how much wealth or resources that you have, if you don't focus upon the blessings that we have, we will continue to experience, we'll continue to suffer from scarcity mentality. That will keep our mind absolutely disturbed and agitated. It is a simple mindset, but it makes an incredible impact in your personality, simply focusing upon blessing, the blessings that money cannot buy. If you think about the blessings that money provides, then you know what gratitude is all about. That's not it. The law is that the more you count your blessings, the more there will be blessings for you to count. It multiplies. The more grateful you are, there'll be a lot of things to be grateful for you to, it keeps increasing. Whatever you genuinely, deeply appreciates in life, it appreciates. It's a law of life. You can't change it. I can't change it. Simple gratitude. The gratitude will make us, or it'll end up having things more and more, everything that we wish for. Whereas if you focus upon what you don't have, if you focus upon what you don't have, we will not even feel the presence of the blessings that you have. It makes whatever little you have more than enough. So when we say gratitude or count your blessing, that doesn't mean that you don't aspire for more. Of course, you can have aspiration, you can have goal in life, no problem. Whereas when you have the goal, when you have your goal in life, when you pursue it, you will pursue it with a sense of contentment. Possessions, acquisitions, prosperity, wealth, whatever we possess, not necessarily make us happy. But being grateful will. Being happy will not make us grateful, but definitely being grateful will definitely make us happy. That's the law of life. You have the choice to desire for more, but when you desire for more, not forgetting the blessings that you have. In fact, grateful people, people who experience the deepest sense of gratitude, they make life easy for other people, especially their successors. You know, we have received countless blessings from many, many sources. See, if you know, recently I was watching some of the replay of the Olympics that just concluded a couple of weeks ago. Many countries won the gold. South Africa won gold medal, India won gold medal. And some of the other countries, including China and America, won several gold medals. So when the person wins the medal, there are so many people who have contributed to the fact that he was able to win the gold medal or silver or bronze medal for their respective country. But there are teachers, parents, coaches, fans, mentors, countless number of people have contributed for that victory. But can they give it back? Can they return it back to them? They cannot, they may not be able to. Very often, many of the blessings that we receive, we may never be able to repay. But to be conscious of the blessings and grateful. And of course, we pay it forward. The way to show gratitude to those coaches, mentors, masters, teachers, parents, and many, many other people that we have received blessings from, assistance from, the way to express your gratitude towards them is to give it forward, meaning prepare something for your successors. You know, once in a village, there was a very elderly man in his 80s. He was working in the farm. He was farming mango trees. And a passerby asked him, in this ripe old age, you are planting mango trees. Will you be there to enjoy the fruit? Why are you planting it? To which the old man's response was that the mangoes that I enjoyed, I did not plant it. Somebody else planted it. And I am enjoying reaping the benefit. So the mangoes that I am planting, I may not be there to enjoy the fruit, but somebody else, my posterity, will enjoy, the future generation, to give it forward. Count your blessings. Think of all the blessings that we have. When you wake up in the morning, especially on a Monday morning, after a long weekend, you enjoyed 3 or 4 days of holidays. And when that Monday morning comes, you open your eyes. You need to go to work. What is your thought? Are you complaining about the difficult job that you have? Are you complaining about the colleagues that doesn't cooperate with you? Are you complaining about the difficult boss that you're working with? change that. As soon as your eyes are open, the first thought is an attitude of gratitude, looking at the blessings. We all have what I would call the gap between waking up and getting up. The longer the gap between waking up and getting up, the worse it is for you. The shorter it is, the better. As soon as your eyes are open, you must be out of the bed. But we tend to linger. But that lingering time, lingering in the bed, our mind often overcome with a lot of difficult thoughts. Counter that with the blessings. What do you do? How do you do that? Think and thank. Think of all the blessings that you have and thank the providence. Think of all the blessings. There are a lot of things that we do that is not controlled by us. If you're a farmer, you might say, well, I have produced all this fresh produce. What did you do? You've planted, you ensured that the right soil, you put the manure, fertilizer, water, you planted the right seed, and that's all you did. Did you grow the fruit, the plant? Did you grow the fruit? No, there's somebody else doing it. If you look at nature, the nature is so beautifully orchestrated. There are hundreds of laws functioning in nature, without which you and me will not be able to live. According to the change of season, the temperature varies. And according to the varying temperature, there are different types of fruits and vegetables appearing in nature. And that is so appropriate for your body. Like in summer, you have one type of fruits and vegetable. Come winter, you have different types of fruits and vegetable. That is so appropriate for your physical health. Who designs it? There seems to be a supreme providence who's beautifully orchestrating it. Not only in the world outside. Look at your biological system, your physical body. There are numerous things functioning in our body, which any amount of money cannot buy it. Whether it is your eyesight, or the simple fact that you are able to breathe, or the simple fact that you are able to chew the food and swallow it. There are people who suffer from functioning of the swallowing, the esophagus. There are people whose eyes are not functioning properly. They have dry eye. The tear gland doesn't produce a tear. Can multiply examples. Count the blessings that money cannot buy. Then you realize that our life is really, really blessed. And when you are acutely conscious of the blessings that you have, you feel a sense of gratitude. Thereafter, we will stop expecting from life. We live our life with the spirit of giving, serving, sacrifice. I repeat, when we are acutely aware of the blessings that we are enjoying, it leaves a great sense of gratitude, and then your unreasonable expectations stop. You begin to think, what can I do? How can I contribute? How can I add value? What can I give? And when you feel a sense of gratitude, the medical science shows what happens when you feel certain emotions in your mind. When you feel negative emotions like anger, hatred, jealousy, etc., it produces certain chemicals in your body, so to speak, certain enzymes or hormones in the body, which damages your body when you feel negative emotion. Similarly, when you feel healing feelings like forgiveness, gratitude, compassion, it produces certain chemicals in the body. They call it DOSE as an acronym. DOSE stands for dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphin. These are all generally called happiness chemicals. So when you feel gratitude, when you feel a deeper sense of gratitude, that mind stimulates the hormones to function to produce these chemical DOSE, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphin, etc. Happiness chemicals, as they call it. It's a reality. In fact, one of the doctors told me that when you actually, in a spirit of devotion, prayer, that is what it produces. And he also told me that even when a person takes drugs, it stimulates these organs to produce those chemicals. That's why they want to go and take it again. So when we truly experience that sense of devotion, you automatically feel high. We don't need those external stimulants to make us feel high. Gratitude. The essence of devotion, bhakti, is an attitude of gratitude. That is the way we recognize the presence of the supreme reality, the Paramatma. By looking at the incredible blessings that we enjoy. But a selfish mind, an ungrateful mind, always focus upon the problems, challenges, and they suffer the consequences thereafter. So the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, entitled Bhakti Yoga, talking about the yoga of devotion. In order to reach the highest level of existence, that is meditation, which is the gateway to God realization. We discussed yesterday the progressive ways to reach God realization. That is to devote your mind upon the Supreme Self. Focus your intellect upon the Supreme Self. If you are not able to do that, he gives us other prescription. Like if you're not able to fix your mind and intellect upon the self, he said, seek to reach me by the yoga of practice. When the mind wanders in the other direction, bring it back. If you're still not able to do that, he told us in the 10th verse, regarding me as supreme, surrender all your action to that supreme. If you are not able to do that, that also renounce the fruit of action. When you're doing whatever they're doing, don't allow the mind to hanker after the reward, the result. When with that practice, you can reach the ultimate. And once you reach the ultimate, that is the state of the highest bhakti or the goal of devotion itself. And then he continues the discussion in the 12th verse.
Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat. Jnanadhyanam vishishyate.
Jnanadhyanam vishishyate.
Dhyanat karma phala tyagah.
Dhyanat karma phala tyagah.
Tyagat shantiranantaram.
Tyagat shantiranandaram. He says, he is extolling the renunciation or detachment. He says, better indeed is knowledge than practice. Better than knowledge is meditation. Better than meditation is renunciation of the fruit of action. Peace immediately follows renunciation. A very important statement. Peace immediately follows renunciation. The only way to experience serenity, peace, is renunciation or detachment, tyaga. Tyaga means detachment. There are other words like vairagya, sannyasa. They all mean renunciation, a spirit of detachment. So how do we get there? He says, better indeed is knowledge than practice. Now, what is he saying? Better indeed is knowledge than practice. Now, here, when he says better is knowledge than practice, it is the descending order of inferiority. He talks about, first of all, he says, better than knowledge is practice, meaning, better than mechanical rituals. A lot of people perform mechanical rituals, idol worshippers, IDLE. Just by performing rituals, they believe miracle will happen in their life. And they do nothing about their life. So better than mechanical ritual is to understand the significance, to understand the science behind these rituals. When your mind feels a sense of devotion while performing the prayers and rituals, etc., and the intellect must understand the meaning, the science behind it. When your mind feels a sense of devotion and the intellect is acutely aware of the purpose, also understand the significance behind it, your head and the heart unite. There is a harmony between the mind and intellect that we discussed yesterday. Your personality is inspired. Mechanical rituals doesn't help you. Rituals play an important role in Hinduism. There are many, many rituals. Almost every challenge, difficulty, there is a ritual. If the couple who don't have children, there is a ritual. Ramayana discuss about it. Putra kameshti yajna. If you have a financial difficulty, there is a ritual. If there is a health, there is a ritual. There is a puja, there is a havan that you perform. You name it. But then just by performing that havan or ritual, that's not going to ward off the difficulty. That will, when you perform the ritual, it creates a right mindset. It creates a positive mood, positive mental disposition for you to do the right action. And that right action produces the result. So knowledge is better than practice. Meditation is better than knowledge. What that means is, when you are able to contemplate upon the information that you received, and as I told you, every ritual that Hindu perform is both scientific as well as psychological. It has an impact on our environment when you perform a havan. That havan has an impact on our environment, on our psychology, our body, every aspect of our personality. It's very scientifically designed indeed. But you got to be aware, you got to intellectually understand and experience a devotion to get the benefit. And when you intellectually understand, you got to contemplate upon it. You got to meditate upon it over and over again. That ability to contemplate, he says, meditation is better than knowledge. In other words, mere information is no good. When you receive the information, you reflect upon it over and over again, contemplate upon it, think about it, masticate it, digest it, assimilate it, and bring it into your life. That is called the manana, reflection. So he says, meditation is better than knowledge. And better than meditation is renunciation of the fruit of action. Detachment. When the mind is not obsessed with the reward of your action is in the performance of right action. The mind has a tendency to get attached to anything that it possesses or going to possess. The fruit is something going to happen in the future. So when we develop that spirit of detachment, the peace immediately follows. Now, detachment is a mental attitude. It is your ability to rise above your expectations. Detachment is the ability to rise above your selfishness, rise above your desires, your ego. You find some of the most successful people in the world, whether it in politics, business, acting, in any field, are those who have risen above. I'm talking about some of the true actors. I'm not talking about some of the true actors are not necessarily famous. And the famous actors are not necessarily true actors. A spirit of detachment, peace immediately follows. When you are attached to something, the opposite of detachment is attachment. When we are attached to something, there is a constant insecurity, constant worry, constant fear of losing it. Peace, the only way to experience peace and serenity is to develop the spirit of detachment. Better indeed is knowledge than practice. Better than knowledge is meditation. Better than meditation is renunciation of the fruit of action, and peace immediately follows. And then he continues to discuss one of the very important section, not only in this chapter, Bhakti Yoga, but in the whole of Bhagavad Gita, that the 35 qualities, 35 virtues of a devotee of God. Verses 13 to 20 discusses those marvelous qualities. So when we discuss these 35 qualities, you might wonder, when am I going to develop all this? It is deep, profound. You might find it difficult, but what you need to do is, you don't have to be overwhelmed by the number and the depth of this quality. But if you are able to pick up a few qualities that really appeals to your personality and practice that, you find all the other virtues become part of your personality, because these qualities are so intricately interconnected. 35 quality, verse 13.
Adveshta sarvabhutanam.
Adveshta sarvabhutanam.
Maitra karuna evacha.
Maitra karuna evacha.
Nirmamo nirahankaraha.
Nirmamo nirahankaraha.
Samadukha sukha kshami.
Samadukha sukha kshami. The very first quality of a bhakta, a devotee of God, he says, Adveshta sarva bhutanam, he who hates no being. Maitra, friendly. Karuna, compassionate. Nirmamaha, free from attachment. And nirahankara, without egoism. Balanced in pleasure and pain and forgiving. So the very first verse here discusses 7 virtues among the 35 qualities of a bhakta, of which the very first one, Adveshta sarvabhutana, the most important quality or a virtue of a devotee of God. He who hates no being. You got to think about this. What is happening in this world compared to what he's talking about? There is so much hatred and dislike in the name of religion today than anything else. And yet, the true devotion to God it begins with absence of hatred in your heart. There are many people, I know personally as well, in the country as well as many parts of the world that I travel. They fight for position in the temples to serve God. And in the process of serving God, they hate their colleagues because they did not win election, the presidentship or the secretaryship or whatever position. True devotee does not need a position to serve God. True devotee do not need any prestige, pelf, or position to serve. They serve regardless of any position. If you need power to serve a temple, you are wasting your time. Some of the best of devotees serve without any desire for position. In fact, the moment you have a desire for position to serve a temple, you are not qualified to be the leader to serve the temple. Or let's put it this way, the most important qualification that is necessary to serve a religious institution is not to have the desire for power. The moment you have desire for power, it is only your ego doing things. That's it. And when there is a desire, dislike for the opposition, the opposite team, all that comes. He who hates no being. Remember, the strength of your devotion to God is not depend upon how many people you love. You may be loving many, many people. You may be loving thousands of people, but that doesn't mean anything. If there is one person that you develop antipathy, hatred, dislike towards, that determines your devotion. You can claim, I've served so many institutions, so many organizations, so many people. But if there is one person that you're entertaining hatred, antipathy, yes, there are many people that can stimulate hatred in your mind. Unfortunately, it's a reality. The other day, maybe about a couple of weeks before, a gentleman was talking about our former president who's in the prison. He's so bitter he's so bitter about the former president. He brought the country to where it is today. I can see from his body language that he is bitter. And there are many people. But does that really do any good by you entertaining hatred? And he said, I cannot stand his laughter. You know, the characteristic laughter of Zuma. Hey, 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 hey. He says, as soon as I hear that, I get irritated. It doesn't help. It's only causing damage to your system. Let him stay in the prison. That is, the judiciary will take care of that. Bitterness, hatred. Our devotion to God will have no benefit to us if we entertain. So pause for a moment, take an about turn and examine. Am I entertaining hatred? When we entertain hatred, hatred destroys your self-confidence. It destroys your power. The moment you dislike or hate the opposition, you become weak. Why is a soldier so powerful? Where does he get the courage? Where does he get the conviction, passion, drive, fearlessness? Because he loves his country much more than he has hatred towards the enemy. A soldier is powerful because he loves his country, patriotism. But the moment hatred comes, he becomes weak. That is the secret of Mahatma Gandhi's power, Nelson Mandela's power. Gandhi taught the world that you can fight without hatred. It is a skill, it is an art. You don't have to dislike your enemy to fight against. Whether you have a legal battle, there's no need for you to hate the opposition. The moment you hate, it loses your self, destroys your self-confidence, it makes you weak. Absence of hatred gives strength. That's what he says. He who hates no being. He doesn't say he who loves everybody. He says one who does not hate, because we don't know what love is. We don't understand. We have no clue what love is. What people call love today is far from love. It is actually infatuation. It is attachment. Infatuation is love polluted with selfishness and expectation. When your love, affection is direct towards a person, and you expect that person to reciprocate in some way or the other, that is infatuation. When you are attached, infatuated, you say, I am in love. Whereas when you truly love, you say, love is in me, not that I am in love. In English also, they say rightly, you fall in love, isn't it? You ought not to fall in love. You must rise out of love. That is what Bhagavan Krishna is talking about, he who does not hate any being. Absence of hatred. We don't know what true love is, but we definitely know what hatred is. Almost everybody have experienced hatred, true dislike towards somebody or the other. Since you already know what hatred is, he says, get rid of the hatred. What remains is pure love. Friends, it's like this. I come to you with a basket full of marbles. And there are two colors of marbles. There are red marbles and blue marbles in a basket full. And I come to you and say, please, can you help me to segregate all the red marbles from the mixture of red and blue marbles? And then you turn back and tell me, oh, sorry, Angajanji, I'm terribly sorry. I'm colorblind. I can't see red. I can't see red. Oh, is that so? Okay, then do one thing. Why don't you please remove all the blue marbles? You can see blue marbles. Take away all the blue marbles. What remains is red marbles. Isn't it? Similarly, we don't know what is pure love. What it is, we find it difficult to experience unconditional love because of our selfishness and ego. The moment we love somebody, there is some kind of expectation, at least a thank you. He says, do one thing, eliminate hatred. Find out before you pray. Before you pray to your Ishta Devata, pause for a moment. Is there anybody that I'm entertaining hatred, ill will towards? If you do, and invariably you'll find yes. There's somebody, it could be somebody in the society, somebody in your own business, in your own organization, whom you cannot harbor, you cannot experience love. Before you pray, keep that person in your mind and send some blessings, some positive emotions like forgiveness, compassion, kindness towards that person. That is when your true devotion begins. A few months ago, a lady came to me for counseling. And her problem was, she's on the verge of making a decision to resign from job. And I asked her, what is the reason? What's the problem? You don't like the job? Oh, I love my job. Then what is the, you don't like the company? No, company, I love the company. The policies are so favorable, so good. But there is one person in that office I simply cannot get along. I tried my level best for last 1 year. I just can't. And I'm very qualified. I can find job anywhere else in the country, many other organizations. There are many jobs lined up. But this company, policies are very good. The, what do you call, the salary is very good and not very far from that. Everything is good, but that one person. And I told the lady, before, resigning the job and finding a new job is your choice. All right. And just by resigning the job and finding the new job doesn't mean that your problem will solve, because the problem is with your mind. You will carry the same mind to a different job also, and you will find somebody else. In this place, it's your colleague. In the new job, it could be your boss, or it could be the security guard who's irritating you. So that may not really solve your problem by changing the job. Then she asked, what do I do? I gave her a prescription. I said, do this exercise for next 1 week, 7 days. That is, write down, the person very well, that colleague who's really, really irritating you, getting onto your nerve, making your life miserable, right? You know that person well. Write down 2 good qualities that the person has. For next 1 week, every single day for next 1 week, write down 2 qualities that the person possesses and assimilate it, accept it, absorb it. Don't allow your ego to reject it. See, our enemy, when we think about positive quality, our mind automatically denies it. Don't allow your ego to deny it. Accept it, absorb it, accept it as a reality. That person has got that good quality. Write down 2 qualities. Start tomorrow and next 1 week. And she agreed to do it. And she did it. She practiced it every single day. 2 qualities that are new. Today's quality is not the same that she will write tomorrow. Tomorrow is 2 new qualities that she finds the other person. And she found 14 noble qualities in that person. And I got a call back 10 days later. He said, I don't know what has happened. The other person has changed. What has changed? That person seemed to reciprocate positively. Remember, the other person's behavior is a reaction or response to your own behavior. When there is hatred in you, you'll find the whole world begin to hate you. Whereas when you begin to change your mindset by writing that positive quality, the other person reciprocates. It is a law of life. He who hates no being. That is bhakti. In our life, there is always one person that really gets onto our nerves. And remember, many of our psychological problems, even biological problems, physical problems, are induced by this hatred. Hatred can be towards, it could be your own family member, it could be your own spouse or children, your extended family. We always hear somebody or the other in the family politics. Almost every family has politics. Not only in the modern era, even during Ramayana time, there was family politics. And you gossip about that cousin, that auntie, that sister-in-law, that mother-in-law, that uncle. And you feel bitter, he did that. When you experience that bitterness, you don't realize the poison that you consume in your body, and it impacts. Remember, a human being has about over 37 trillion cells in your body. And when you experience hatred, You are actually negatively programming. You have 37 trillion cells in the body. Every cell in the body is impacted by the emotion that you feel. And when you experience the positive emotion like gratitude, like I mentioned, it has got incredible impact in your body. See, when you experience the healing feelings like gratitude, forgiveness, etc., it begins to heal your life and body automatically. A few years ago, when I was in US, in Massachusetts, I finished the evening lecture and I was having dinner with the family. There was a few other organizers were present as well. And after the dinner, we were sitting and chatting. And this particular doctor is quite a successful endocrinologist. Yeah. In some context, he started talking about what happens when the emotion goes through, what happens in your body. And he started explaining, and I told him, give me 1 minute. I quickly went to my bag and brought my pen and pad to ask him, okay, now tell me what happens. He started talking, I made him stop, and he restarted again. And he says, when you entertain hatred, all right, stressful emotion, the mind feels the fight or flight. Either you want to attack or you want to run away. That experience. Most of the time, you want to fight. All right. Now, when you have this emotion, there is a series of negative chain reactions happens in your body. When you entertain that stressful emotion, hatred, anger, etc., it increases your adrenaline. All right. And it produces certain hormones like cortisol. And what I jotted down here is it produces cortisol and your heart rate increases. When you feel angry, your breathing becomes faster. You tend to breathe faster to absorb more oxygen. That is the body's reaction. Your blood pressure increases. Your breathing becomes uneven, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, right? And then he says your metabolism increases. And when your metabolism increases, your stomach is ready to digest more food and you tend to eat more. Your acidity increases. You tend to eat more. And your excretionary system gets affected. That's why when you're stressed, you suffer from constipation. The impact of hatred. And then he says, the worst effect is it has an imbalanced endocrine system. Endocrine, he explained, is that it is the chemical factory in your body. It produces a lot of, benign chemicals like oxytocin, serotonin, etc. Those that I mentioned to you. Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endocrine, all those chemicals. So these endocrine system gets adversely affected. It produces certain negative hormone, and then there is imbalanced emotion like fear, anxiety, aggression, depression, and that creates panic, and panic creates further threat. It is a vicious cycle. It is a negative chain reaction. And you find when you experience hatred or any negative emotion, it deteriorates your physical health. No matter how many times you go to a gym, doesn't matter. It might slow the process, that's all. The first thing is you got to develop that mental health. So when Bhagavad Gita talks about he who hates no being, as a devotee, it is not just meant for the temple. It is relevant in your workplace, in your boardroom, to the bedroom, in every aspect of life. Adveshta sarva bhutanam, he who hates no being. And then he says, Maitra, another beautiful virtue. Maitra, friendly. Mitra means friend. Maitra means friendly. Friendly means when you are able to maintain a working relationship with people. All right. The ability to be comfortable in the society, in social life. your capacity to get along with anybody. It is a basic human nature. You are inherently able to get along with everybody. It is our own ego and selfishness that impedes it. Your basic nature is that you don't have any hatred, anger, jealousy. Our basic nature is pure. So these negative emotions are trained or learned habits. So your ability to get along with people easily, maita, friendly. See, when you interact with people, remember, different people that you meet or interact with bring out different aspects of your personality. Some people bring about negative aspect of your personality. Some people bring about really positive aspect of personality. Some people bring about a cheerful aspect of personality. There are certain people, when you have a conversation with them of 5 or 10 minutes, they will really make you laugh. Some people, you have a 2 minutes conversation, you feel like committing suicide because they'll give you a very gloomy picture of life. Life is not as bad. Ability to work with people, that friendly. Remember, in life, one of your greatest asset is relationship asset. One of your greatest asset is not the bank balance. It is your relationship balance. Sometimes, when your personality is inherently noble, you will automatically have wonderful relationship with people. And that relationship sometimes is much more valuable than having $1 million in your bank. Sometimes one phone call can do what $1 million cannot do. That is what the power of relationship. Some people have a tendency to carelessly burn the bridges because ego, just because the other person inadvertently made a mistake, forgot to invite you for birthday party or whatever party it is. Or maybe they deliberately ignore it. Even then, why should you get affected? We get affected because of our self-importance. We feel I'm so important. How dare he not invite me? It is our ego that is actually polluting it. Don't unnecessarily, carelessly burn bridges. Remember, protect your relationship with people as gently and carefully as you protect your eyesight. Our eyes are so sensitive. The slightest of threat, immediately the eyelid closes. That's why God has given us eyelid. Sometimes I wonder, why didn't God give earlid? If only God had given us earlid, so many of our domestic problems will be solved, because we can close the lid and we don't hear what our spouse is saying. But eyelid, relationship. Protect your relationship. Relationship is always built based on trust. Relationship is always built based on the virtue of giving. You don't build relationship by taking. You build relationship by giving. There are so many. Giving is not just money or food and clothes, etc. Virtue, nobility, your kindness, your compassion, unconditionally, that is what actually builds relationship. And when you have relationship, see, sometimes you may not even interact with people, but the other people have a lot of reverence and regard and respect for you, because I know there are people, they don't socialize, they don't go to playing golf, they don't, there are people who join Rotary Club and Lions Club and BNIs and golf clubs, etc., to develop connection. You can develop connection through that means, not relationship. And when they join this club, their intention is to build connection so that they can make use of them. That is not what you're talking about. You don't build relationship with thinking that I can make use of them. That's being selfish. True relationship is based on trust and sacrifice. Once, in a particular factory, it was a cold storage, all right, a few hundred people working in that particular factory, producing frozen foods. And every day by about 7:30, many people come by. And by 4 o'clock, 4:30, they leave the premises. And there is security guard. Security guard is at the entrance and watching everybody is clocking in and coming in. And nobody ever greeted the security guard except one lady. This particular lady would greet the security guard every single day. And it so happened that, it is the same security guard during the day for, many, many months. So as the lady is walking in, and as she clocks, swipe the swiping card or whatever, or the fingerprint, she will say, "Good morning, hope you're well." Just a greeting to the security guard. And in the evening, as she clocks out, as she leaves the gate, she'll say, "Good night, good evening, have a good day." That's all she says. And the security guard loved it. He felt somebody recognized his presence. Otherwise, everybody walked past as if he doesn't exist. He's a statue there. And it went on. And one particular day, she came in the morning, and in the evening, the same security guard was present. Most of the people left the factory, and he was actually waiting to receive the greeting from this lady. He felt nice, just that greeting, "Good morning, good evening." But he didn't get that greeting. And he knew certainly that he looked at the record, she came in, and it's 4:30, 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock, and most of the people from the factory has left except a couple of security guards. And he's certain that she came to work in the morning. And he got suspicious. Where is she? He asked the other security guard. They didn't really know. And he knew that she's definitely came in the morning and she did not leave the premises during the day. And he went around searching office after office. He couldn't find. And eventually, he happened to open the door of a cold room. And there she is stuck inside the cold room, on the verge of death. Her body has gone really cold. She was on the verge of death. And immediately he took her out and rushed her, called the ambulance or whatever facilities that was available, rushed to the hospital, and her life was saved. And when he asked her, when she asked him, "How did you know that I was inside the cold room? I was stuck there." What happens when you open the cold room, it locks on its own and you can't open it from inside. You can only open from outside. Accidentally, it got locked from outside and she was stuck inside. That's how the accident happened. And she asked him, and her life was saved. A couple of days later, she was discharged from the hospital. She asked him, "How did you know that I was there?" And the security guard said, "Every single day, dozens of people walk past the gate. Not a single one of them greets me. They walk past as if I'm a statue. I'm non-existent. You are the only one who greeted me every single day. In the morning when you walk in, and the evening when you go out, you greeted. I felt nice. I felt comfortable. I felt I am somebody. And I used to wait for that greeting. And this particular day, I was waiting and I didn't see you coming out. Then I got suspicious. I went around searching." A simple act of friendliness, a simple act of kindness saved her life. Don't underestimate the simple instruction here: friendly, maintaining a working relationship, the ability to enjoy the sociability. And then he says, compassion, karuna, a beautiful quality, compassion towards those people who are less fortunate than you are. Ladies and gentlemen, there are some area or the other you are more fortunate than somebody else. In the area that the other people are less fortunate than you are, you feel a sense of compassion, karuna. It is this compassion that makes us human. Without the spirit of compassion, we are stone. However, Compassion must be governed by rationality. Sometimes misplaced compassion become more detrimental. Karuna. And then he says, free from attachment. Nirmamaha. Mamaha means possessiveness. Nirmamaha, without possessiveness. And we have so many possessions that we feel possessive about. Remember, possessiveness is a negative characteristic. Attachment is a terrible tendency of the mind. The law is that whatever that you are attached to, maximum will also give you maximum pain and suffering. That's the law of life. And one of our strongest attachment that we have is attachment to our children. If you don't have children, it could be a sibling, it could be a parents. But when you have child, your most powerful attachment is attachment to the children. If you are able to display objectivity, you are a master. Most people get very possessive about the children, and they don't let go of the children. Remember, one day, sooner or later, our children have to leave our household for betterment, for the better prospect, for whatever it is. Are we able to let go of the children? We have to. Remember, the children your child doesn't belong to you. Your child belongs to nature. Your child belongs to the universe. You happen to be a medium for the child to come into this world. The child comes through you, not from you. So don't feel a sense of possessiveness, my child. The moment you say my child, you will begin to experience anxiety, stress about the child. The child can give you maximum pain. Let go. Let go doesn't mean that you're careless. Give them that freedom. Many parents are so obsessed, they become so controlling for the child. The parents decide what the children should do. In this respect, we got to learn this lesson from animals, birds. Very often you see, you read in the articles or watch some of the television animal programs, etc. An eagle, right on top of the tree, lays the egg and sits on the egg for days or weeks, I don't know how long. And then eggs are hatched. The eaglets comes and so tenderly, lovingly feed the eaglet, take care of the eaglet, and grow the eaglet and allow the eaglet to grow. And once the eagle is ready to fly, what does the eagle do? It just pushes the eaglet out of the tree. And the eaglet's, flapping the wings, trying to learn to fly, comes down. And as it's about to strike the ground, it grabs it with the claw and lifts it again, go high and drops it again, and train the eaglet to fly. And once the eaglet, the chick, learn to fly, when they start flying, the eaglet may not see the bird in the rest of his life. They are so detached. I'm not saying you should let the children go. That's not what I'm saying. The point is, attachment is mental bondage. Many parents live only to take care of the children. They have no purpose. The purpose comes in their life only when they have children. And if there is children, there is no purpose at all. And once the children has educated, grown up, qualified, leave the house, they feel empty. They don't have any purpose. Don't live only for the children. Of course, taking care of the children is very important. This possessiveness, free from attachment, gives us that mental bondage and anxiety. You make your children's life miserable. Give them that freedom. Let them experience the world. The world is the oyster for them. Let them make their life. When they have freedom, you'll be amazed how creative they will become. They can mold their life, their personality. They become extremely adventurous, creative. They will surprise you, and one day will make proud of you. You'll be proud of them. Free from attachment and egoism, balance in pleasure and pain, and forgiving. We'll discuss the rest of the quality tomorrow, 7 o'clock at the same time, same place. We'll conclude with the Shanti part. Om Purnamada Purnamitam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.